Yo, welcome to the year of 2021. As we already at the end of the month of January, a lot of eventful things has happened. I will speak of world news. We had a U.S. Capitol attacked, and we had a new president now, Miss President Joe Biden and everything. But sometimes we gotta escape the reality because reality can be harsh. So today in this episode, we are going to cover game news. We're going to cover releases and updates and everything of games come out in 2021. Myself, Trey here, and I have here Braulio, also known as y'all know as Ray Blast. We will be going over, but first, before we get to the game news, we are going to talk about some recent updates within Reloaded Entertainment Studios. Okay. First, Mr. Braulio, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, it is me once again. It is I, Braulio, also usually known as Ray Blast in this server. What is up? I hope everyone's 2021 is going good so far, and I hope, good things come this year.
Heck yeah. Alright, so, but like we said, we hope y'all had a good New Year's Eve and everything, party up and everything. Alright, so enough hassle, let's go ahead and get over to new updates. So things are silently cooking up. We don't really have to keep quiet on most of our stuff. We apologize for this, but we have recently partnered with a few people, CyberSmart VPN and other services. We have recently partnered up with them. As many do not know, myself and another founder of Reload are in TSB Gaming. CyberSmart, TSB falls under Hydra Pack, and CyberSmart is in RGN Renegade Gaming Network. They're hosted by the people there, but recently just one of the owners of CyberSmart joined TSB along with us, so we have a mutual partnership and everything. Other than that, we have a ARC server called ARC Reloaded. You can basically, if you are in an Xbox or Windows store, all you have to do is pretty much just turn your filter and go to unofficial PC sessions and then search ARC Reloaded, and it will immediately pop up. You just remember that in our ARC Reloaded server, we will be posting a server invite in our own Discord as well, and all information that pertains to it, including the roles. But do you got anything else, Braulio, for Reload itself?
I would definitely say keep an eye out on our socials as the year progresses and time goes by. We'll be releasing more and more news about our current projects, future projects, and more things we really can't wait to share with you guys. So definitely keep an eye out and definitely get hyped. Let's go!
Yeah, we gotta get hyped for sure. Alright, so as many of you don't know, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out for the whole new year to the whole Reload staff. I'm not going to give myself a shout out, but to the other two founders, Fira and Soup. Some may know him as Plague. I'm giving a shout out to Babbage, even though she's no longer within the staff, but she always has a place in our hearts. Sent for Babs.
Let's go.
I'd like to give a shout out to Ollie, Mr. Bags, Nobody, Water Rich, Tempest. Oh man, I gotta find these other ones. Poppy Chulo, he knows what his actual name is. Old Tiny, Alpha X, Carnage, Jax, Firehorn Duchess, Hexarek, even though you know what your actual name is, and the last one, also known as Death Wish. I'd like to give a personal shout out to these people and everything, because you are the ones that keep Reload going, not me. Y'all give all the hard work and everything. And I'd like to give a shout out to a few streamers and partners and everything, the Streets and Ferraris. Want to give a shout out to them as well for keeping up the good work and everything and interacting with us. A few streamers want to give a shout out to Saber, Miss Beetlejuice, Beezy, Gun Butters, Satori Wolf, that guy Alan, Wordle Witch again, Daily Triton, and Old Trixie and everything. For they're not our official streamers at all, but they give us interaction and everything. We really appreciate all that support. All right, so let's go ahead and start getting down to the official business of what's all been going on in the gaming world and what we are expecting.
Well,
All right, so go ahead.
there's definitely a lot of news, especially around the new year. January, as everyone's looking towards the new year, and definitely what games will come out. And of course, there's good news and bad news, as there always is. So let's begin with a few games that were delayed into this new year, with an old classic favorite known as New World. If I'm correct, you talked about this on your previous podcast. Is that correct, Trey?
Yeah, we had a lot of information and episodes officially about this game because I remember we made one episode and it was about to come out in a month and then it got delayed, and then we made another one saying it got delayed again. That was to August, and before we get to August, and it was a little late in August too, and I was looking around, I was like, man, I was like, what's going on with New World? Because because podcast was short-lived a little bit, and I found out delayed again, 2021, but by time in August. Yep. Yeah, I won't say that game may not come out till like late 2021 or 2022 at least.
I can definitely
It's got a
see
lot
that.
of competition. Even in MMO business, it has a lot of competition, and Amazon's going through a lot as well. So, I mean, they have all these resources and everything. So I just don't know. I just don't know what's going up with it. Like they've been delayed.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons that I feel like it really is up because Amazon's track record with like their game development has been shaky at best. Early last year, before the release of New World, they came out with this online multiplayer game called Crucible, which launched, and it was an okay launch until there's a lot of game-breaking bugs and exploits and just a general like an unfinished product, right? And went back to beta, went back to the testing stage, only for it to be canceled just a few weeks later. And this being one of Amazon's like releases, it really impacted like their development and such.
It's a really, really sad fact that it keeps happening with a lot of games. Like there's, especially Kickstarter, it still happens. Star Citizen, where are you?
One day.
Yep. But we want to try to get all the rest of the bad news first. I mean, my honest opinion, I may have mentioned it before, Cyberpunk I definitely loved, but they're definitely facing a lot of backlash and more lawsuits now. As of right now, GameStop is definitely highlights of recent world news for depending on what type of person you are. It's either good or bad, but I think it's good. But we won't go too much into that detail.
It's a crazy world out there today.
Alright, yep. Alright, so let's go ahead and get down to the gaming news. Alright, so really, at this moment, the biggest one is Resident Evil 8 Village. Oh boy, oh man, the fanning, the simping and everything on here over lady, I think, would you say it, the Mistru and her daughters. Yep. Oh, just the cosplay, the memes and everything recently. Resident Evil 8 has officially a very big hype, and it's a very big game expected to be coming for sure now. Speaking of which, Resident Evil 8 should be $60 still. They will not go up in price with other next generation games, but from what it is saying as of right now, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S and PC all still, as of January 22nd, it's all still going to pretty much current and next gen.
Nice,
But
nice.
speaking of Resident Evil, there's apparently more stuff coming, like some of the classics, and something about Resident Evil 4 has been like, after 2 and 3 remastered, there's been something about 4 being like remastered here soon as well. But I will say Capcom's been definitely doing a really, really good job with their game.
Most definitely.
But Hitman 3 got 9 out of 10 on GameSpot, 88 Metacritic. I played the first one, never officially played the second one, but as a big person who used to play Hitman back in the day, I'm honestly anticipating to play this one myself. But the one big issue with Hitman 3 was Epic made it exclusive to the store on PC, so a lot of Steam users and everything were mad about that, and a lot of people were speculating that their goal would not be met. But luckily for them, the developers of behind Hitman 3, they officially made back all the money they put in the development. Their developer is IO Interactive, by the way. They officially made all their money back, even the fact that they were an Epic exclusive. But hopefully eventually they still bring it to Steam, because Hitman 1 and 2 is supposed to be on there. And there was a little backlash that because in Hitman 2 you could bring I wouldn't say stats, but I definitely know the maps and everything from Hitman 1 could be carried over to 2 as long as you had Hitman 1.
Oh, nice.
But more news will probably be coming of that. But other than that, it scored really well. I have been hearing a lot of great things about this game, and it recently just came out, and it's officially the 8th installment. So Hitman's a pretty big series now. But other than another game that's been released in 2021, it was actually yesterday, January 28th, The Medium. So I've been hearing a bit mixed about this one. I think it's mostly personal preference, but you never know. Like, sometimes news media will say games are bad, but when you play, it's actually really, really good. And then, it's kind of vice versa. News media say the game would be good, and and then you play it and it's actually trash. Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2. Sorry. There's a lot of coughing today, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I think the allergies kicking in.
It's that time of year anyways.
Yep.
So,
Medium was I was going to just go over Medium real quick. Medium is a psychological horror, supposed to be a successor, which is an actual cool fact that the main composer, I can't really pronounce it, but Akira, the one that made all the Silent Hill soundtracks all the way until Downpour, was dual composing with another as well for the Medium, basically the whole two world scenario and everything. Bloober Team was the ones that was developing the video game under Microsoft Windows, and not Microsoft Windows, but under Microsoft themselves. But like I said, its review is apparent. Like, a lot of people are unsatisfied, probably just people expecting a lot from a horror game. But I haven't personally tried it. I was going to, but college and everything, I've been going through that. But eventually, I'll eventually be giving my own personal review here soon about that. But as far as I can see, a lot of people's been enjoying it, but according to articles, they're apparently not. So, but 2021, nonetheless, it's expecting to be having lots and lots of games be coming out, especially major series, installments and everything. So maybe, Xbox kind of with the Medium started the year a little rough, but they're definitely came back with this. What was it? Yakuza Remastered Collection. They added all Yakuza games remastered to the Xbox Game Pass actually just today on January 29th.
Let's go.
So pretty much if you have, I don't know if it'll be on PC. I actually could take a look real quick, but I know on Xbox you can play all of them, 2, 3, even then the new one. Well, actually I don't know if a Dragon is, but as far as I know, it pretty much is. Xbox Game Pass adds new games every day, so yeah.
I definitely recommend.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I definitely recommend giving the Yakuza series a try. It's especially one of those games that actually, feels like a game rather than, just something to do. It's a very fun series in general.
Actually, looking at it right now, Xbox Store on PC, if you have the Game Pass, you can play Yakuza Remastered games for sure. Alright, let's look at some more games. Let's talk about them. But yes, you are correct. They are this is definitely a really good series. I've been watching so many streamers play it, and I was like, man, I really gotta give this game a try. All right, so mostly this year, it's a lot of like favor for PC gamers like us and everything. There's a new game called Iron Conflict, which is basically, ironically, World War II RTS, but I read more into it. But it has modern weaponry as well. But it's an online PvP, competitive and everything. So I may actually give that a shot and review it later. But as far as I've seen on Steam and everything, it is definitely got some good reviews for sure. Actually, we'll go over more to it. Yep. It features both, modern and World War II aircrafts and tanks. I mean, I'm seeing soldiers, real-time strategy game. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, oh yeah. Like, I'm thinking, I wouldn't say Sudden Strike. I would say probably, it's like a one big other game, but I can't think of it. I wouldn't say war game, but when it comes to mine, I'll compare it to that. But so Little Nightmares 2 is supposed to come out this year as well for all you little other horror fans that really loved the first one. Little Nightmares 2 is coming out this year. Expecting release by February 11th, and everything made by Tarsier Studios. But other than that, I didn't really see too much information come from it, but hopefully that it turns out really well. I mean, the first one definitely was very loved, so I have no doubt the second one will definitely be very loved by the masses and everything.
For sure.
Alright. Oh, key twist. Stronghold. Speaking, since we were talking about strategy and RTS, even though, well, kind of how it depends how you look at this game. If you played Stronghold 1 and 2, Crusader, whichever, if you played the one that was crappy, I think it was Fantasy, and there's like a new Stronghold 3, which was like more better graphics. They're actually coming out with one here soon called Stronghold Warlords. And it's a very anticipated PC game. The Mongolians are supposed to be added into this. It's a tactical castle simulator. So basically, trying to find a balance between warfare and trying to keep a life for your people going like normal as you lead into pretty much the dangerous Mongolian territory. So definitely we'll probably be seeing like, instead of like the Crusades and medieval and stuff, we'll most likely be seeing this set in Asia. Alright, so we're gonna go keep a little more of this. May seem like Xbox, but it's not really. PlayStations don't have too many information about their games besides just a select few. Everspace 2 has been released and it's been performing really well. I have the first one, but I never touched it. But it's always like space games like this always interested me. But from what I've seen, Everspace 2 is like definitely been remarkable. Like very great reviews, no complaints or anything. And it's out right now on Steam. Let's look at Outriders. Now this is definitely a very big anticipated game. They've been announcing this game for years and years, but no, like we're pretty much the closest to an official release date than ever before. So basically, it's a drop-in, drop-out looter shooter experience with heavy RPG elements, similar to other games like Borderlands, but this is they're saying this is going to be third person. So this is made by People Can Fly, the developers of Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment. Bulletstorm, in my opinion, was a really good game. No hard feelings like for Gears of War Judgment or anything, but only issue with Judgment was just the story mostly. But yes, Outriders is definitely heavily anticipated to be coming out here soon, and that's definitely like kind of like Rogue Company for me. It was just one of those games I was like, ooh, this is going to be interesting, and there'll probably be a set esports sites for this game. What's your input on Outriders? I like to keep talking about this game for a second.
Well, it's definitely a game that I feel might make an impact on the looter shooter scene because, recently there's been a lot of debate about the scene itself. You hear talks about how Borderlands 3, not as much love as it was for like 2 and pre-sequel, for example. And there's a lot of talk about how there's a lot of upset people with the whole sunsetting and Destiny 2 as well. So Outriders coming in this time where there's a want for looter shooters that aren't these. It's definitely, I feel it's gonna be definitely a key role to how it's gonna play out.
I'm glad you mentioned Destiny because that's actually a very good comparison because a lot of the Destiny players on Reddit and Facebook and everything have been saying that if Bungie pretty much doesn't get their stuff together, they're expecting that Outriders will probably be kind of like a quote unquote the new Destiny. I'm not saying that's an official thing they're saying, but basically that's going to be like most of Destiny big Destiny people's go-to. But Destiny 2, if right now is about to be in season 13, and Bungie will have to for sure step it up a lot because, like you said, there's a lot of sunsetting, there's a lot of maps vaulted and content vaulted, and there's really not anything to do besides Europa itself, pretty much. Everything else is just kind of there besides Forsaken and Shadowkeep, but can't really do too much without the other worlds. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped for Outriders. It's ever since they had that one guy with the sniper, I was like, man, this game actually looks pretty fun, look pretty good. But I mean, I'm actually gonna look up a release date because I want to make sure that people know. Oh yeah, that's what it was. April 1st is what expected. It'll be releasing on Steam, and sure we can assume it can release on console, current, and next gen as well. Okay. Alright, so moving on. So this is for very big fans of especially for those PC gamers from like back in early 2000s and stuff. Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. Set in the same universe as the Vampire the Masquerade franchise. This game will be coming to PlayStation 5, 4, Xbox Series, and Xbox One, and PC. So basically, it's basically rivaling Vampire Masquerade and quote unquote the longest name, apparently. But it'll be a third-person action RPG where you are a werewolf, but there will be plenty of gameplay as a human as well, as they state. So basically, you will go through trials and everything, trying to use your human, werewolf, or wolf form, apparently, and take advantage of the situation. So it's a more traditional RPG, so it'll probably be just no different than how Vampires Masquerade actually plays, but I definitely know a lot of people love that game series, so they'll probably be very interested in this as well. But there's definitely apparently like a lot of stealth gameplay involved with this game too. So, all right. So Super Mario 3D World for the Switch. Never really cover Switch games much, but I've been playing a little bit more. Hell yeah, Pokemon. I'm a big Pokemon person. But so it's supposed to be coming to the Switch. 3D World Bowser's Fury. So pretty much like that's gonna be you'll pretty much be hearing that a big time. Persona 5 Strikers coming PC and Switch. I mean, it's about time they added Persona 5 to other platforms, honestly. That's supposed to come out in February. And going back to Werewolf real quick, I forgot about the release date. February 4th. Super Mario is supposed to be February 12th, and Persona 5 is February 23rd. Alright. No, this is a game that Ubisoft have been having a lot of games, and I'll take a little break from game news a little bit. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Ghost Recon Breaking Point. The open worlds they have been making is outstanding, like 10 out of 10 for me. Like, that's not including gameplay and story itself. Breaking Point was iffy at launch, but after they updated it, it's definitely good. Valhalla was pretty much on the spot as soon as it released. It's definitely been a very big game loved by many, besides the ones that are stuck up AC fans that are like, about history and everything, because apparently there's a secret order is considered history. But I'm anticipated to see what else they would bring open world. There's apparently they still have to bring the DLC to Valhalla, and they're still adding stuff. You can have some R6 characters on Breaking Point now. Speaking of which, yep.
I'll definitely have to give that a try then.
For sure. But the reason I brought this up is because of this one game. Ubisoft has actually been killing it, even though they've been kind of money grabbers a little bit. My personal opinion, I like Watch Dogs Legion, but they just don't have enough content. Like, I was kind of disappointed with the lackluster of content. So, looking at games that are coming out, I'm not talking open world no more. I'm talking like sports games. Like, a lot of people left Steep. Riders Republic and Roller Champions. Roller Champions, I will definitely say that will definitely be a very good game, and I hope you to see that, especially in esports scenes, because I was having fun on that game. I mostly played as a brute during the I'd say alpha, and I would play with two of my guys and everything, and I would always just knock them down as they're sitting there trying to chase the guy with the ball, and we'd be winning like 5-0 and everything. Like, especially in the alpha, that was definitely a really, really, really good game. And speaking of like another sports, there's a really big one. I'm guessing it's compete with the Cinders a little bit, and successor to Steep. It's called Riders Republic. Now, they had a long trailer for this game for sure when they announced it, but going back to open world, this is going to be an open world sporting experience. You can grab a bike, snowboard, pair of skis, or wingsuit as you ride or glide across this landscape. So far, we are seeing a desert, it's going to be woodlands, and there's definitely going to be mountains and like snow-capped mountains as well. So that would definitely be a fun game, and that's supposed to be released in February 25th, but there's no telling if what I'm reading's been outdated or anything recently, but we'll be finding out here soon anyway. But yes, Riders Republic definitely looks pretty interesting. My personal stuff will probably wait for like a sale, because it's like that's how mostly Ubisoft games are now. They're not really good until later coming. That's what I was mentioning about Breaking Point, but with Valhalla and everything, they'll probably be able to perform well now. Alright, so I know I made a comment earlier about Xbox and PlayStation, but PlayStation's first major PS5 exclusive for the whole new year of 2021, Destruction All-Stars. It's meant to be a launch title, but it's heavily anticipated and everything. It's a colorful vehicle combat game. So basically, we're looking at like a colorful Twisted Metal. It seems to be that way. But they're not really giving. They're saying it's supposed to release in February, but there's really not too much information. If it's still releases February, who honestly knows? But we will see about that. Now here's a very big game, and this may come to console, but it's for sure coming to Switch because it is this big Switch favorite, Harvest Moon: One World. This has definitely been something that's been heavily anticipated, just like Animal Crossing New Horizons was, and a new Pokemon game. People go for a few years without a game in a series. They're like, oh, now the next one's gonna be big and a lot. This is definitely for sure going to be heavily anticipated for Nintendo and everything. Just kind of like Animal Crossing, a little bit farming simulator. So, but this one may be different. Who knows? I ain't really seen any gameplay myself, but I never really played Harvest Moon. But for those people that definitely love the Harvest Moon series, hopefully this game turns out really, really well. But moving from this list I have, this is going to be the last one. Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake. Now this was announced, and as far as I remember, this was announced by Ubisoft, correct, Braulio?
That is indeed correct.
Okay, yep, and it's supposed to be coming to console and PC. It'll be an upscaled version of the original 2003 game. visual sounds and everything. And it's supposed to be delivering new animations and reworked music to fit the standards of modern gaming. But hopefully they don't pull a Mafia 1 or 2 and take a lot of stuff out. But all right, let's move on. All right, let's cover Stalker 2.
Hey, this is one I've been waiting for.
You can officially check out more information at Stalker 2, not TWO2, like the number 2.com. It's gonna be always been a big fan of like Chernobyl stuff and everything, and always kind of relate Stalker with Metro, but you know, they still kind of different. And I used to watch YouTube videos of like people playing Stalker back in the day, because you know, never had a PC. But Stalker is a unique blend of FPS, immersive sim, and horror with really thick atmosphere. It's set in basically in the Courts of the Lords as Stalker. There's Chernobyl incident, and then there's another which basically causes a lot of crazy stuff to happen. Monsters, the whole entire government and everything just goes crazy. Like, it's just wild. Stalker 2 will be coming to Xbox Game Pass on day one. It's going to be having 4K and ray tracing support on Xbox Series X and S, and it's coming to PC as well. If I don't not know anything if it's coming to the original, not original, but current gen Xbox One or Xbox One X, but eventually we will find out about that. I'm actually gonna read some more about this game because this is definitely a very interesting game. Apparently the protagonist is called Skiff, who will definitely shape the new grand chapter in the history of the Zone. The Zone is basically, you know, Chernobyl and outer. Speaking of which, Chernobyl news has actually been popping back up recently, and it's not really good news.
Oof.
So alright, so they're following the step of its predecessors like Call of Pripyat and all those other games. So it's definitely gonna be set in the stone. Not the stone. What am I thinking? The Zone. Alright, but they're trying to say it's progressing smoothly. Alright, I'm trying to look for some more. But just like I was saying, this is gonna be a day one Game Pass and everything. Yeah, ray tracing supports. Yep. And they're saying that Stalker 2 may be a game that will push the graphical envelope, so they may set the new standard. I mean, most games do that kind of nowadays a little bit, kind of setting the standard, but they're saying Stalker 2 may be the big one here. For those who don't know, basically with Stalker, so if you have played Metro, it's kind of similar, but the big difference in like lore and stuff and everything. But Stalker is definitely an open world game, but there was talks that Stalker 2 may be a little linear, but who's to say if that's actually true or not. But this is a very anticipated game, especially for PC gamers, and I honestly hope with this game they bring the originals back and bring them to console, because this game series is very, 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 very awesome.
It'll definitely be nice to have everyone experience it, and who knows, maybe they'll do some sort of remaster collection of sorts just to make it easier to transfer.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. I mean, that's what a lot of game series do, so I wouldn't see no doubt that they'll do something with this one. Do you want to cover any other games we got going on here?
Well, honestly, I feel like, you know, my biggest game that I've found the most interesting, and honestly was a surprise to me when I saw the Game Awards, was Back 4 Blood, a spiritual successor to the infamous,
Yes.
you know, Left 4 Dead series. And since Valve can't count to 3, we now have its own game developed by the same studio, and it looks really good, both graphically and gameplay wise.
Right, the Turtle Rock Studios, they were the actual father of the Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. Some people get confused and think it's actually Valve, but no, Turtle Rock Studios was under Valve at the time and everything. So the actual makers of Left 4 Dead is making a Left 4 Dead successor, Back 4 Blood. There has many's already know there's been cinematic trailer, a closed alpha game, and all that. There's just been lots of already revealed, and it's definitely looks like it'd be really, really good. One thing I do hope is that it does have some sort of crossplay, because like even back in the day, a lot of people were on certain consoles playing, you know, Left 4 Dead here, Left 4 Dead here. But hopefully they have some sort of system to where like people on separate consoles or platforms do not have to buy one game on here and one game on here types. And again, basically what we're trying to get rid of as a gaming community as a whole. But from I'll definitely go a little bit into it. Back 4 Blood, the zombies and everything, the way they move and mutates and all this are definitely different from Left 4 Dead itself. So this is basically an entirely different universe. There's big titans, there's like a whole big infected mutation that's basically a hunter and a smoker at the same time. There's basically like a big blobs of boomer style zombies that are definitely going to be pain, and they're basically tanks themselves. They're not no 50 health points like the boomers in Left 4 Dead are. But an also interesting fact, Turtle Rock Studios is also working on the new Suicide Squad game. That's also a very interesting fact, by the way.
Yeah, and when I first saw it, when it was announced, I was like, oh. And then as I kept watching, I was like, oh. It definitely looks like something I'll have to keep on my radar.
It definitely plays. What I saw was there's definitely some World War Z type stuff coming from it. But what I did like, and I like it in Cold War Zombies too, is the fact that when you keep playing, you unlock perks and like more stuff and everything over time. The more you play, like you actually have an incentive with this game to actually play more and more, not just hey play this and then try to find achievements like in the old ones. You know, there's an actual incentive to actually keep playing and playing and playing. And from what we saw in one of the closed alpha gameplays, apparently like there's these things called cards. So what we're definitely going to be seeing is so you get to choose what infected comes in, or there's either that or the game chooses. So you could probably do like only like 2-3 types, or you could do like a whole entire roster of like different types of infected mutations. But from what I've seen, like these are like worms and stuff, like type infections. So we're kind of given a little Resident Evil zombie type thing going on here when it comes to like Resident Evil 4. Like I never really played the older ones, but Resident Evil 4 I definitely know. Not Resident Evil 4, what am I thinking? Dead Rising. Dead Rising had like worms. That's what it was, worms. And they were basically the hosts and stuff and everything in the zombies. So that's basically what we're kind of seeing here. And so, especially with Dead Rising, we'll probably see like, you know, certain hosts and stuff, kind of like you know how Halo has the flood. There's certain hosts of the infections and stuff. But this is definitely a very, very interesting game. It's going to be there's definitely going to be more environmental hazards with this game as well. So it's like it's not just the infected, but you gotta basically worry about a lot of other stuff. Like from what I've seen, Hemos seems to be a little more scarce now, and there's just a lot. But this game will for sure be coming on current and next gen and PC. I'm very excited for this game. For those who don't know, this game is rumored to at least be released in around late June 2021. But this game reminded me of a few games that have been in a development hell, and then I had to research it myself. Dying Light 2 and Dead Island, what was it, 3 or 2?
Yeah, I think it's 3. I'd have to double check though. But man, Dying Light 2, that's a story within itself.
it's still by Techland, but both games are going through like big development hell, going through developers, blah blah blah. It's very like I'll hopefully Dying Light 2 does get officially released and everything, but it's like from what they show in the trailer, like they seem like they were so close and everything. It seems like I know for a fact it would be a really good game. I love the first one, but it just some games and everything out there just kind of get lost in hell, development hell, and everything. They just don't come back. And same thing for the new Dead Island game that was supposed to be coming out. There was like whole entire alpha and everything, but we never officially got anything else other than that, and that was years ago.
We can only hope it. Well, we hear more news about them here soon.
Speaking of which, of not hearing too much about certain games, Far Cry 6. Did you actually know that game was supposed to come out in February?
Really?
The new installment of Far Cry is supposed to come out in February, but we have not seen official gameplay. We haven't heard any news other than the trailer that Ubisoft have gave us, like whatever show it was, like, and that show was a very long time ago. I think it was like early 2020 or late 2019 they showed it, and ever since then there has been no information about Far Cry 6, but besides like who the main character is, and that was about it. But I wouldn't say this game will release in February. I'd give it like late this year for sure. But you know, speaking of New World, another game has been delayed to hell. Halo Infinite. I'll cover this for a good minute.
Oh, this one, yeah.
So this game is officially supposed to come out in holiday 2021, a year after it was supposed to come out, and that release date was, what was it? It was like another year. It was supposed to, like a year before it was supposed to release. There's been so many release dates announced for this game, and the moment we kept getting closer and closer, it just all failed pretty much. So there's definitely been a lot of hype recently on Twitter and everything. Upcoming first-person shooter 343, published by Xbox Game Studios and everything. We're definitely picking up Master Chief again, and it's supposed to be following Halo 5 Guardians, the 6th main entry in the 14th Halo game overall. This is supposed to be taken after events of Halo, not just Halo 5, but also Halo Wars 2. Not many people know, but the Banished was introduced in Halo Wars 2, and a lot of people, like lore masters and everything, tend to believe like this will definitely keep Halo up good. But as we see in the trailer, lore-wise, that the Banished pretty much took over everything, destroyed the Halo rings and all that. So it's definitely very, very interesting what to expect at least. And don't forget to pay your tributes to Craig tonight. But I'll look at this article just from one day ago. It's on the Halo Waypoint site itself. So I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, that's right. So they showed a new showcase of like the weapons they're bringing in, like the revamped engine and engine renders and stuff. They're showing like new armor pieces, kind of showing the grappling hook a little bit. They've been showing like vehicles, equipment, weapons, objects you'll be able to interact with, and especially all the toys that the players get to play with. It includes all of the player systems and verbs like jump, run, half value, shield, recharge times. The work involved with creating these are both equal parts of fun and challenging due to the sheer size and expectation of a Halo game, which makes sense. I mean, no more stuff you add and all that, but they're supposed to be adding new weaponry, and they're supposed to be definitely be revamping a lot of stuff and everything, especially like, what's this? So Lone Wolf player gold player. The player feels that they can stand alone and be effective without teammates or AI companions. To abide by the Lone Wolf principle means that we must provide the player with the necessary items and features to empower them to be effective on their own. Teamwork will augment the experience, but we need to ensure that the player can feel powerful on their own. I mean, I wouldn't see why not. You're Master Chief, hello? One way that we can achieve this is by looking at designing and tuning and balancing the starting loadout for players and multiplayer. The basic traits and tools and weapons must allow the player to be effective from the moment they spawn, without the need to scavenge for good weapons. I honestly wouldn't complain about having a certain loadout for story missions, or they said it's supposed to be like a certain open world, so but there's no telling how that would work.
Halo Battle Royale 1.
Actually been rumors about that, confirmed that there will be a Battle Royale coming with this game.
Let's go.
So they're trying to make everything more quick, frictionless, and responsive. Looking at you, Halo 5. Definitely likes Halo 5 lacked in this so bad vulnerability and threat identification. I mean, having enemies that are literally god tier, like I'm not saying like the like Cortana, the Guardians, and all those big guys themselves. I'm talking like the actual like Promethean soldiers were almost like just sitting there just shredding soldiers and Spartans like it was nothing. So hopefully they fix that. But I mean, it looks like we'll be facing a Covenant. There's no official source stating that there will be Prometheans, but I can look that up real quick. I mean, it wouldn't be no surprise, but as of this year, there was an article. There's barely anything pointing towards Prometheans being an infinite. It's either like a strange marketing decision, or they're just simply not in the game. So basically, even a lot of people, including myself, do not want the Prometheans. Like 4 was good enough. 5 would have been decent, like, you know, if they were just there around. But other than that, there was just no point of Prometheans. They're definitely bringing shield walls back, but instead of like it being Covenants, there's going to be one for like Spartans and stuff, so there's definitely going to be that. There definitely, vehicles seems to be a very big part of the Halo sandbox and the campaign and everything. They're definitely working on the they're definitely working on the mechanics wise of that. There's definitely was a shotgun screenshot that looked really, really good. It's called the Bulldog. And I can definitely see a drum mag and a little grip, so definitely good. Basically, they're giving a lot of balancing and updates, flighting and after launch. So, but also know that Halo Infinite will be free for all. Campaign will probably be behind a paywall, but who's to say, honestly. I mean, we still got a while. Another gun that was also confirmed is the Commando, which is basically, I'm pretty sure, what we saw in the gameplay trailer. And I did like the little red dot sight and everything. It's officially sure that we definitely needed another DMR type weapon for sure. Like, especially for like Halo and everything. Like, only issue with it was the lackluster of like weapons and everything. Like, you know, like old ones, like, you know, that's kind of acceptable, but the new ones, like 4 added all these weapons, but 5 didn't really add much at all. So it's like, you know, yeah, especially like being futuristic, you gotta have like different types of weapons and stuff. And here's another thing. It looks like the Hydra. I'm pretty sure that was a weapon for the There's a weapon like it kind of for the Covenant, but there's definitely looks like a little grenade launcher for this one. Yeah, they're definitely adding a lot. They're definitely reworking the AR. Ooh. Yep, that's mostly pretty much about it. There's also a collector statue for Master Chief you can get for Halo Infinite right now if y'all are interested.
Ooh.
But other than that, they've been releasing a lot of concept art itself and everything. But they stated that they're about to, on Twitter, if you look at HCS, which is Halo Esports. They're saying they're about to give a lot of updates for Halo 5 and Infinite itself. But I'll be going over Infinite in a minute. They have a lot to cover up. It's like this is the longest we went without a new Halo game, pretty much. And a lot of people are expecting a whole entire lot from this game. Like, it has to be like they're supposed to be bringing 4K ray tracing, maybe, who knows, but it's supposed to be run optimally on all platforms as well. Okay, so I just read this. Halo Infinite is supposed to have rebuilt customizable control schemes, so there's also that. But in my opinion, it is kind of good that Halo did delay, because for the whole Cyberpunk 2077 issue is on the original Xbox, people complain, but like I stated numerous times, people need to upgrade. We can't, because if we keep doing it, it's going to keep a lot of games getting delayed and stuff.
Or have games being held back by their previous hardware.
Like, even when the Xbox and the PlayStation 4, the originals, not the Xbox One X or One S, they're totally different from this conversation. But when those consoles even came out, they're already outdated. Like, the specs were already outdated. So this ain't just like 7-year tech or anything. And most of these screenshots that people see were on, like, new consoles like Xbox One X and stuff like that. And I actually had someone come to me. He's like, and I told him, I'm like, it should have been on newer consoles. And he brought up a Xbox One X, not original Xbox, an Xbox One X. And he's like, just totally, I'll go against your argument, blah blah blah. And I pointed out that it was an Xbox One X, and he blocked me. Like that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, a lot, especially with gamers, and I hate about it, is they don't understand how specs work. Besides PC players. All right, another big Xbox. Albion is definitely upcoming. But before we get to, Albion, Fable, those fantasy games, Elden Ring, the big Souls RPG.
Elden Ring. The mysterious one.
I've been seeing a lot of news about it, but there's, supposedly we're supposed to have From Software, and it's supposed to be co-developed by Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin. But they're hoping this game comes out in 2021, and hopefully it does too.
Honestly, it's been a while now. They've mentioned that they're gonna bring out more news, but it's been way too long. Have you heard about the whole Elden Ring subreddit?
No, I have not.
Without official statements and like more information about Elden Ring, the Elden Ring subreddit has basically de-evolved into a how should I explain this? A melting pot of randomness, of made up lore.
I mean, there's no telling. Like, we only got a few and everything.
Like a 16-second trailer.
Oh. Speaking of which, for Elden Ring, if more information that comes in, we'll definitely end up be announcing on this podcast for sure. Gotham, so I mentioned Suicide Squad, but Suicide Squad is not the only DC game coming out. There's also Gotham Knights. Batman is dead, but you have his superpower proteges, Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, and Nightwing. If I was playing this, I'd definitely be playing Red Hood. But this is behind the studio that made Arkham Origins, so this is not related to Arkham Asylum. This is not related to Arkham City or Arkham Knight. Arkham Origins is basically a totally different series and everything. So, but it's supposed to be four players, but apparently you can play 2 players sometimes as well. Another favorite classic, Age of Empires 4, was announced very, very long time ago. Xbox has taken hold of that, but it will mostly be PC coming for this anyway. But Age of Empires 4 is rumored to come out in 2021 as well. That's just kind of like Stronghold, as we mentioned earlier. That's basically a very big fan strategy game. Alright. I basically went through a whole lot. There's Deathloop, which is basically made by Arcane Studios, who made Prey, Dishonored, and everything. But even though Bethesda was bought by Xbox, Deathloop will definitely be a PlayStation 5 and PC exclusive for 1 year. But Deathloop is supposed to, like, if you remember ever watching a video, and you're stuck in a time loop, and you gotta kill like these people and everything without dying.
It's definitely an interesting concept, which I don't think many other games of the current time have. It's sort of a PvEVP on a more personal scale.
Yep. Also, a big thing right here. We're all seeing that Mass Effect was definitely heavily info that was going to be remastered, and we definitely saw some news on Dragon Age 4. So, but for those games, like, I know that the people behind Anthem 2.0 was definitely moved to Dragon Age 4 as well. So not just those 2, but 3 games. So hopefully, like, they come out and everything, they're well. Anthem, in my opinion, was a good game, but EA basically kind of left it untouched. I will say this: recently, within the past few years, EA has definitely been stepping up. Besides sports game, they've definitely been stepping up when it comes to like a few certain games. So, like with the whole BioWare thing, and there was definitely a good game recently. I know for sure they did real well, but Jedi Fallen Order was really good.
Yeah.
There's another few games, but I just can't think of them at this moment. But I just know. But EA is definitely stepping up.
It was definitely nice.
Yeah. There's also another thing. There's also been rumors of a Battlefield game. I should also mention that, but I have nothing to really go off of to read or anything. It's just mostly rumors, but it's been years since the last one came out. They didn't add the content as they said they were, so it's like, yeah, we need new Battlefield, and they need not to screw this one up like they did the last 2. Last 2 is a bit of a big topic. Okay, so for you Lord of the Rings fans, Lord of the Rings Gollum, this actually shocked me. I saw this on Steam on Marketplace. You get to see the world through Gollum's eyes as his split personalities tears you into making difficult decisions in his action adventure set in the iconic world of Lord of the Rings. It's Daedalic Entertainment. They're also known for Unrailed and Outriders Lord of the Dead. This definitely be a very interesting game. From what I also read, it's supposed to be very big factors of stealth. So basically, I'm getting kind of feels of what is it? Styx, the little goblin, the little 2 goblin games. That's what I'm basically kind of getting vibing from that one, from Gollum and stuff. So before we will go over some other games here in just a second, but I just want to list these out. Crossfire X, the 3rd installment is supposed to be coming to Xbox only, but maybe it'll come to PC under Windows, who knows. But it's definitely been very anticipated. When Crossfire came out, Vigor, I've been heavily playing Vigor recently, and it's made by Behemoth Interactive and stuff, and it's really good. There's a heavily rumored that Crossfire X is supposed to be coming out this year, so hopefully that is true. Don't forget, Evil Dead announced a remaster. Well, I wouldn't say remaster, basically a new installment, but kind of a remaster. But yeah, made by the Saber Interactive. They were the ones that were in charge of World War Z. Now they're tackling on Evil Dead. Alright. So we really don't have too much information on God of War Ragnarok or Horizon Forbidden West, but I know Forbidden and Horizon, there was something that happened within the studios, but I cannot remember with the life of me what it was. But hopefully that will they'll come clear on some more info on that. Another big one, Hogwarts Legacy. It's supposed to be coming on all platforms. It's supposed to come out this year. Action RPG. This game's definitely been rumored forever ago, but it's nice to see that we finally get an actual very good Harry Potter game, in my opinion. You be your own wizard or witch, and learn at the legendary school of wizardry. So let's hopefully there's that. Alright, so for you big horror fans as well, this is another good one. Sons of the Forest. It's supposed to be a little bit more unsettling than the first one, and the first one I loved. Like I fucking loved. Sorry for my French, but Sons of the Forest is definitely taking like a new take, pretty much the same area, but it's definitely new animations, new monsters and everything. It's definitely more monstrous creatures, and it's apparently there's like a story with the cannibal villagers itself. I know we brought up Werewolf earlier, Werewolf the Apocalypse. Speaking of which, even though it's set in the same universe, Vampire Masquerade is bringing a new game called Bloodlines 2. So there's like that whole series itself, like the whole universe is pretty much bringing a lot of installments to it. I honestly may have to give these a try because I really want to try to see how they are. So I want to get on this game real quick. Rainbow Six Quarantine. This has definitely been announced for a very, very, very long time. It is for sure a PvE horror-filled experience, and it's pretty much supposed to be the first standalone entry in the Rainbow Six franchise since Siege, but it's supposed to be all platforms, no doubt, besides Switch, but hopefully soon they can definitely bring more looks to it. I mean, we've been kind of left out on this, and 2020 was supposed to have been the year that we're supposed to get info, but we never actually did. But for myself, that's mostly the big games that, in my opinion, are coming out. Like, Halo Infinite, we talked about Outriders. I mean, there's a lot of games that we've left out, and that's for sure going to be good, but it's like, there's so many games coming out. I actually think 2021 will actually be a really, really big year. So, I mean, that's what, for this podcast episode, that's pretty much what will be coming up for game news and everything. I mean, we'll definitely be improving the talks about it. We'll definitely be doing research and everything, trying to make sure that we can give people updates, because a lot of these games, a lot of people, you never know, like, some people may come across and totally forget about a certain game and be like, oh, hey, there it is. But then, like, Dying Light 2, and that game was falling off the map for a while, news-wise, and then I looked it up, and it's been in development hell for sure. But, and also another game, that's probably the last one I'll announce. Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game. Braulio, you said you knew more a little about that one, didn't you?
Yeah, it's kind of really interesting to see this, because, it's been a while now that Star Wars has basically sold its rights to EA, the same company that brought you the remastered Star Wars Battlefront 2, and then, as you mentioned earlier, Jedi Fallen Order. So it's really interesting to see that Disney really deciding to change relationships and give Ubisoft a try at doing their own take on the universe. They actually announced this, I believe it was earlier this week or last week, and it really took everyone by storm. It was actually really interesting. It was a short teaser, so while we might not know exactly what they're planning on doing, considering it's a installment in the newest universe, it's probably gonna be canon, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, I mean, it may be a while before they come out with it, but for all those fans out there, if Mountain Blade Warband, Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2 is out, and they got more modding, so here within a year. So if they don't come out with that game, at least you can play the Star Wars mod on Bannerlord on Mount Vapor 2. Speaking of which, that Star Wars mod on Warband was actually pretty lit. But but yeah, there's definitely a lot of games. I mean, technology improves, like us as humans and everything. We keep improving. So hopefully a lot of the games we listed do not have any bad news coming in this year. I mean, maybe Dying Light 2 will finally release this year. Maybe the Dead Island game will finally release this year. Maybe New World will finally quit delaying like 3 entire years.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like we went over like a lot of games and everything for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, 2021 for going back to Reload, we're definitely looking at like very, very big things, and I'm definitely, if you keep listening to the podcast, I'll be uploading my own personal reviews and everything of games I played. Like, I will even say right now, if you were skeptical of Breaking Point before, right now it's definitely a very changed game. You can pretty much choose the way you want to play. I actually played Ghost War to PvP. Took a long wait time, but it was pretty decent to play again. I'm Destiny 2. I'm hoping that they bring a lot of content back. But Dead by Daylight is rumored to be upscale, like revamping a lot of other maps. Rogue Company's been making a lot of updates. Actually, we actually just found out old school RuneScape may be making a transition to Steam, just like the RuneScape 3 did.
Oh, let's go.
And Smite just started season 8, and apparently there's also a new Conquest map, which I may actually try to look at sometime.
Ooh.
But I mean, for gaming news, like, we could go on, but recently most of the stuff is just kind of depressing news, honestly, and we don't want to do that to y'all.
No, not right now.
So, I mean, especially in times like this, we still sadly have COVID and everything, but always try to invest in online opportunities and everything. Just try your best. A lot of people are going through hard times as it is and everything, and just keep your head up out there, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Stay safe.
But for the Mutt to Reload podcast, we will conclude this episode. We appreciate y'all listening and everything, and we do have big goals for, like we stated, we have big goals for 2021, and I just hopefully get to see y'all go along with us. We really appreciate y'all tuning in and everything. But have a great 2021. We will definitely be having an episode next month around the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate y'all tuning in again, but remember, it can be great, but it can be greater.